the day for it.
Once again, I don't know if he heard this. Jerry, welcome to the show. Banta the Young on the YouTube chat says, Jerry Reynolds is like a chocolate-dipped ice cream cone, good anytime, rain or shine. How does that make you feel?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, I don't know why there'd be some discussion on that.
That's right. That's right. Anything to avoid talking about the team as well, Jerry. You have seen and you've been up close for some of the more challenged Kings teams. This team's lost 14 in a row. Is it possible we're looking here at the most talent challenged squad in the history of the Sacramento Kings?
Well, it's not the least talented at all.
Yeah.
There's been several teams that have less talent. Now, it certainly doesn't seem to fit very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that can be, the record would kind of indicate that.
Mm-hmm.
The old saying, I can speak with certainty, I think, that this franchise currently does not have its ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
These ducks are going all which ways. but from a standpoint, it certainly is more talented than several teams I can think of that, had pretty bad records. But here's I just thinking of one thing. The good news. The last time a team lost 14 in a row, I think it was, or maybe 13, was the Cincinnati Royals, and they had won 19 games, and they got Oscar Robertson. So, and then they won 33 games next year, 4-game improvement. So maybe it'll be something. They're not going to get Oscar because he's pretty old, but
he'd help, Jerry. I think he still would help, don't you?
I guarantee you he'd improve the guard play. He would at 85 or 6. He would improve it.
Yeah.
Jerry, we're talking about, tanking and the culture, and Scott Perry's talked a lot about building the culture. When you have a rough season, and this season is historically bad, how easy is it to simply turn the page going into the next season as if this season never happened? Are we in a danger zone to where this could seep into next season, or once you get into training camp this year in a new season, will everything kind of wash away and we hit the reset button and last season was last season? Is that really how it works, or when it's that bad, could it maybe roll over a little bit?
Well, it's going to roll over till you start playing better and winning. Mm-hmm. It's there. You can't deny it. Now the roster will change, and so there'll be a lot of different players, or not a lot, but some different players and all that. So, but yeah, it's no different than say other teams of the past that ended on a bad note. I go back to the 98 Kings, which lost, I think, 12 or 13 in a row at the end of the year. And but the team, basically did change itself, but it had to start winning some games, mm-hmm. For people and the players themselves to decide they were different, and of course there was a lot of things different at the start of the next year. But you use the Detroit Pistons as a good example. They've been through quite a few just terrible years, and they got a number 1 pick, Cade Cunningham, finally, and they didn't turn it around. It took several years past that. Last year they finally got it turned. I think they're about their 5th year of tankdom, mm-hmm. and so yeah, it's with you until it's not. You can't just wish it away and platitudes and we're going to change the culture. Well, the culture doesn't change until you win. That's all. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. It's not simple, but you can talk about changing the culture, but it doesn't change until you win games.
How difficult is it, Coach, to evaluate your coach, your players, your young players, anybody in this type of environment where some other teams you're playing are not putting their best foot forward. So how do you even know how your young players and your inexperienced coach are even developing?
I think it's really tough. I just think it's one of those things. I mean, you want your young guys to play as much as they can, and you hope you can evaluate them accurately. But as you pointed out, and you guys know, I mean, it's tough. I mean, you're going out there and getting beat, and your young guys are playing, and sometimes they're putting up pretty good stats. But, you always have to be wary of stats and losing games, and especially against teams that are trying to win. That's even less important. And so it can be a fooler because you're wanting to find, and I think that's what I think you're trying to find, is which of these guys, these younger players going forward, what role can they have on a winning team? Can they be main guys on a winning team? Can they be eighth men on a winning team? And that's what you really need to know, because at some point I would assume the goal is to have a significantly winning team, and a lot of the rookies now, or the young players, is like, well, they look like they're the NBA players, but what level? And like what they need actually is Oscar Robertson, and they don't. They need a major star that, in my mind, they don't have.
Yeah, Jerry, you just mentioned it, and I'm hoping you can maybe go a little bit deeper. Some people are going back and forth about the young guys, and, well, we don't really know how good they actually are. How confident are you in the young players, and which young players to be mainstays in this league, and which ones, Jerry?
Well, I can't say I'm confident in any of them that they're going to be total guys you build around. I've seen enough of Cardwell and Reynolds. I like them. I think they're players. I think you can have them. I think they got a chance to be on a winning team. Now, what roles? That's what I wouldn't say for sure. I mean, it's hard to project any of those guys that far forward. I mean, Clifford has shown moments where looks like he's a player, and moments where he looks like he isn't, and same way with Carter. But I guess I'm not trying to dodge a question. I think that there's just not enough information to say, can any of these guys be third or fourth men on a 50-win team? And to me, that's always the gauge. What are you doing if it's not going to be a 50-plus win team? Well, which of these guys could play on one and play significant minutes on one? And right now, I don't think you can say any of them for sure.
Yeah.
And you're hoping to find that out here in the last 25 games.
To that point, Jerry, my opinion, I've been rooting for this guy, but last night, if you look at the numbers, Devin Carter made his first start and he scored 19 points, but I watched the game. I didn't think he played that well. He's 4 for 13. He was 1 for 6. So, again, that's an example of how the numbers can be a little deceiving in this environment.
Well, they are. I mean, especially, in losing games, like we've said, I mean, every losing team has a leading scorer and the leading rebounder. That doesn't necessarily mean those are a lot of times empty stats. The old saying, a 15-point guy on a 65-win team is probably a lot better player than a 15-point guy on a 17-win team.
Yeah.
I think that's agents never seem to understand that, but I'm pretty sure that's the way I see it. So it's a little bit. It's like Carter. I agree with you, Whitey. I mean, I like his aggressiveness. He's tough. He competes, but you're looking at him as a guard, who can make teammates better and make plays, and he hasn't really shown what you want there, or shooting ability. But he's young and he's you can't give up on him, but what level of player he can be, like I say, I think he's shown that he's an NBA player. Is he an NBA rotation player on a winner? Is he could be a starter on a winner? Well, he's a long way from proving that, I would say.
Jerry, we're to the point now where, because of the wins stacking up, I think people are turning some of their anger to Doug Christie. How would you evaluate Doug Christie right now? Obviously, kind of a tough situation for him, but how would you evaluate Doug Christie and kind of how he's handled this bizarre season that we're witnessing?
Yeah, I think it's almost impossible. I mean, I don't know what directions he's been given. Certainly.
I'm sorry, Coach. We're losing you. You're breaking up a little bit. That was a good question too, Alan. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. We got you now. We got you. Nope. You're cutting in and cutting out on us. Sorry. Yeah. Jay's gonna see if we can't get a better connection. Way to go, Alan. This is a good question. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good question.
It just broke the connection. It's so strong of a question.
Jerry, do we have you there, sir?
Well, I hear you guys good. Like I say, I was telling Jay, I said I'm out here in Verizon, Roseville. I don't know if that's what's going on here.
We got you.
I pay my bills. That's all I know.
All right. Well, thank you, Alan. Wait, go ahead. Ask your question again. Yeah, about Coach Christie. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the question about Coach Christie. Yeah, I think it's really tough to evaluate. I mean, because I don't know what directions he's given from up above, and I mean, clearly, when you're in Sabonis and guys like that, you're not playing your best players, so you're certainly not going to win as many games or look as good. And certainly, by playing young guys, you're wanting to find out what they can do. Well, they're not equipped to win consistently, so it's pretty hard to judge a coach based on that. I thought last year, when he took over a team that was pretty well somewhat formed from Mike Brown and the players they had, and he made them better, and that was what you're supposed to do. And this year, it just went off the rails day one.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I'm biased toward Doug, so I would certainly feel like he ought to have another year to at least have a little fairer chance.
You'd appreciate this, I think, Coach. One of the last times the Cincinnati Royals lost 14 straight. I was looking this up because I was wondering who they drafted. I know you mentioned once they got Oscar Robertson, but one year they lost 14 straight. The next year in the draft, they didn't have a draft pick because they'd used a territorial pick on Nate Williams. I'm sure you know him very well. But my question is really about the draft. Again, I know we ask you this every time you come on. What are you making? Are you still a Darren Peterson guy, or is the fact that he's missed some games here, are you starting to wonder about whether he'd be worth the first pick?
Boy, I'm getting shaky. Whitey. I'm telling you. I know I'm convinced he's the best talent, but boy, sure seems like some point you got to, if you're going to count on a guy for 82 games, he's got to be able to trot out there more than half of his college games, doesn't he?
You'd think, yeah. But he is, when he plays well, he definitely looks like the best player to me.
Oh, he looks like he could be a difference maker. And so I guess you don't have to draft now, so that's why I think the end of the season in the college game and workouts and things like that will be even more important in evaluating a guy like him. I mean, you just got to have a lot more information about what you think health-wise and maybe mentally. If quite honestly, is he a little soft? Is he, if he's a little soft in college, it's not going to get easier for him the next step. So I'm wavering. That's all I got to say, Whitey. I'm sorry. I've been flopping around here a little bit. I do think he's the most talented of the, and maybe most pro ready as a talent. But I'd like for the Kings, they need a guy who's going to be ready to step on the court and play 35 minutes, game one.
So if it's not him, though, it's DeBonsa for you right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and you saw where Caleb Wilson's hurt and probably out for the year. from North Carolina, probably one of the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's well, the draft is not a sure thing. I mean, that's the thing, and the Kings have to get the right guy, and he has to develop properly. Just I mean, Cooper Flagg's a great example, a terrific young player, the right pick, terrific, and Dallas is where they are, right?
Yep.
So the way that you're going to be able to get one of these players is obviously having a bad record, Jerry. And there's all this tank talk, of course, with the All-Star break, no games going on, so even more reason to talk about it. Where do you fall on the tank talk conversation? Have you ever seen anything like what the Jazz have pulled off, pulling out some of their – they didn't have to do it last night, but against some other teams pulling out their stars, to get the loss?
Yeah, sadly, I've seen it a lot, and to what you can do about it, because as we've talked to, the players themselves that are on the court are going to try to win, but that's where coaches and front offices play the game, taking out their best players, and they're not playing their best players and things, and I only thing I could think of, with the league, and they've tried to equalize it a lot, when you really. The team with the worst record hadn't got the top pick consistently at all due to things. So they've done a lot what they can do, but short of really having a league doctors or something go around and basically say, these guys are healthy, play them, or you'll lose your pick or lose picks and besides lots of money. I mean, I do think the league needs to. Show some real concern there. I mean, they're concerned, but to have a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, when we haven't seen anything looks like a penalty come down on the Clippers, I mean, so I don't know. David Stern isn't the commissioner anymore, fellas. I just wanted you to know that in case you forgot.
Didn't you kind of have a rough episode with Commissioner Stern one time, Jared?
One time.
Yeah.
He explained to me how it was going to work, and so I shut up and dribbled from then on, and yes, I mean, like I say, I mean, he was, I think, a great commissioner, but certainly he could be a very intimidating man.
Okay, not to be trifled with, and neither is Jay.
Not to be trifled with.
Yeah.
And like I say, I think a lot of what's going on now is too much trifling going on. How's that?
Yes. I know, Jay, you have your throwback question of the day.
Yeah. I actually, I don't watch a lot of television, right? And so when I do watch TV, it's normally for something, unless I'm sitting with my wife or my daughter, it's something that I'm really interested in. Whitey sent something a couple days ago about the ABA and Dr. J showcasing this new series or docu
on Netflix. It debuts tonight. Soul Power.
Man,
yeah.
I'm super excited about that. One of the things that I've always wondered about the ABA is the transition of Dr. J and how great he truly was. That's one question for me, because I've heard so many people say he's like the forgotten star. Before Magic, before Bird, it was Dr. J that carried the logo. Obviously, he carried two different logos. With that being said, what's the most, if you take anything away from the ABA, Jerry, what's the one thing you take away from the ABA?
Well, I really think that, the ABA really made the game a lot more exciting. The three-point shot, that's where it came in. Obviously Dr. J, George Gervin, players like that, that's where they got their start, kind of, and they were so much fun to watch. I got to tell you a story about Dr. J. And I may have told this before, but I saw Dr. J and Pete Maravich playing on the Atlanta Hawks.
Wow.
People say, well, that didn't happen. I said, yes, it did. Mm-hmm. Atlanta, Dr. J was signed by the Hawks during the summer or during a preseason, and he and Pistol played 2 games. I saw one in person at Georgia Tech Stadium, when that's where the Hawks used to play. and before the league rescinded the contract, and then, as we know, went on to. And of course, Doctor was, he was truly great. I mean, he was breathtaking player that really was the guy in the ABA, and then of course came to the league and NBA and was the most exciting player in the league for years, until Jordan probably came along, really, as far as just pure excitement. But he and Pistol, and I want to tell you, people say, well, I don't know how good they've been together. I guarantee you, I saw it in the preseason game. They were fabulous. I mean, it's just, my God, Pete would, throw a full court hook pass, and Doc could catch it in one stride and dunk it, with one step from half court or something. He was amazing. And of course, I worked a summer league camp with Dr. J, and Gervin was in it too. And I was just, he was just such a great guy, just class. And I always remember the exhibition he put on for the kids where he took one dribble from half court and dunked.
Come on, Jerry. Wow.
Yes. Well,
one dribble?
One dribble.
Where was the dribble at? You remember? What part of the floor?
Well, he started. He pushed it out there a little bit. It was still one dribble. You can say whatever you wanted to about me. I saw it. I witnessed it, and so there's that.
That's incredible.
And so he was incredible. That's exactly right. The thing that probably. If he'd been a great shooter, he might have been the best ever. But the one thing that struck me, one thing about him was the same thing with Jordan. His hands were so huge, that he could just hold the ball like it's a softball. And so that's why nobody could ever block his shot, because he could just keep moving it around. Jordan was like that. So anyway, I probably told you more than you wanted to know, but Jay, I'll tell you what, that league was fun. I saw a lot of, the Indiana Pacers that time, and the Kentucky Colonels. It was a lot of fun. It was.
Yeah. Coach, you've told me the story about Julius Erving and Pete Maravich before, but I could hear it every day. It's such a great story, and I still.
Oh, those two guys. I mean, you talk about two guys ahead of their times. I mean, and both of them would be major stars today. I don't care what J.J. Redick says or whatever anybody else says. If he thinks, it's like the old thing people say, well, like with Bird, they say, well, he was too slow or whatever. Have you watched Jokic?
Yeah.
And then Luka? I mean, Larry's more athletic than either one of them.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate it very much. I hope you get a chance to see that show on Netflix.
Oh, I'm going to. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, Jay's right there, man. That I can't wait. And that was a marvelous time and really great for the NBA. And so anyway, that's one thing about me, fellas. I'm sorry. I got too many stories, and I'll just have to hold them in. I'm busting loose.
No. Yeah, we just don't have enough time for them. Thank you, Coach.
Well, it's probably a good thing. All right.
We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, I never get tired of that story. Can you imagine that?
No, I really can't.
Yeah.